Now, Victoria could be a bloodbath for Labor in the upcoming federal election, with a fresh Redbridge poll revealing that Labor has lost significant ground in 5 marginal seats and 3 others across the state. And that Victoria is now the state where voters perceive the Liberal Party most favourably. It doesn't turn up for the books. Across the 5 Victorian seats tracked in this new poll, Labor's two-party preferred vote has shrunk from 51.4% in 2022 to just 43% at the moment. And if that 43% was reflected across the state, Labor could also lose Aston, Chisholm, McEwen, Bruce and Dunkley. And the Herald Sun's reporting that the party has already written off seats like Aston, Chisholm and McEwen, with their efforts to be focused on holding on to Bruce, Dunkley, Hawke, Crangamite and Holt. Gary, it also seems that the opposition leader and the Liberal Party are ahead of Labor, according to this poll, when it comes to key issues like cost of living, economic management, health and crime. This is going to cause all sorts of concern for the ALP. If this poll is accurate and this is a Labor-aligned firm, then Anthony Albanese is in some trouble in Victoria.
Yeah, and he deserves to be. And to Peter Dutton's credit, he's been working very, very hard in getting to meet as many people as possible. Not everyone has met him, but everyone who does says, wow, he's actually a really nice bloke, you know, and I actually think he stands for stuff and I actually can see him doing the job. But look, the residual of those who aren't sure about him have just got to realise that Albo ain't up to the job, and we're suffering economically, we're suffering as a society, as a nation, our national security is in peril, and everywhere you turn, you just know Albo's just lost all momentum as far as common sense and thinking about the values that underpinned our nation. So, you know, for Victorians, they desperately wanted a better Liberal state parliamentary team. They've got a better leader than they had, and I think that's an impact as well. So I guess, Rita, it's a case of fool me once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on you, but fool me 5th or 6th time, shame on me. I think people are now having a close look and saying, you know what, the other mob are hopeless. This bloke can't be that bad. Let's give him a go. And I think that's a good thing for Australia. Well done, Victoria.
Well, Anthony Albanese was out there during Mardi Gras. Let's have a look at what went down. This has really become a far-left activist event, masquerading as a gay and lesbian pride parade. Albo was asked some fairly easy questions by the ABC's Jeremy Fernandez.
Who's on your queer party playlist for when you leave the parade tonight?
Well, obviously Kylie. Obviously. Who's playing out at Homebush. There's got to be some chance she'll turn up here later on, isn't there?
Fingers crossed.
We'll see.
The Mardi Gras has been hijacked by the far-left activist class. Just watch this.
1, 2, 3, 4, kick the Liberals out the door. But we don't need to because they already left.
Is this the Liberals?
Yeah, they left.
So we're just here outside the pathetic Liberal stall. It turns out the Liberals can't even hold their own stall. They know the community voted them out at one of the previous AGMs because they were too cowardly to take us on. They don't support our equality, they don't support anti-discrimination law, and they've been attacking us on purity blockers, and they've been putting people in our community in detention.
Oh dear, and there was all sorts of other activism there. People are saying that, you know, the police should be defunded. They're pushing pro-Palestinian positions, saying, you know, end the genocide. You could never have a pride rally in Gaza or the West Bank, Gary, but that point seems to be lost on these activists.
Yeah, and the trouble is it's the activist class that's frankly driving Labor out the door. Everyday Australians are over this. I've got to tell you, they really are. And look, they're entitled to their views and they're allowed to express it because that's what freedom and a democracy allows. And, you know, if people want to be stupid, they're allowed to be stupid. There's lots of ways to do it, you know, lots of social media stuff. But, you know, Rita, everyday Australians aren't offended by somebody who happens to be gay. And there's plenty of gay men and women who just get about their lives. They're worried about paying high electricity bills too. They're worried about all of the same things everybody else is. So I don't know why these people assume they can hive a group of the community out into a pile and say this is what they think. They don't think that. Gay men and women make their own minds up about stuff. And And indeed, that's the way it should be. It really should be. I mean, we've seen this attempt to divide in the past on multiple lines, types of religion, types of Christian expression, whatever it might be. But if we're all Australians and we all work together and we find the things we're all angry about, I think that's where the vote goes. And frankly, everybody's angry about the high price of electricity ruining our economy, ruining our family, ruining our chance to buy and build things here because we just can't afford it anymore. And whether you're gay or not, it doesn't matter. That's just the reality that, frankly, unites us.
Now let's turn our attention to Australia's involvement in the unfolding situation in Ukraine. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese had made it clear that Australia stands with Zelensky no matter what. And the UK has responded with a new pro-military campaign. Keir Starmer is pledging boots on the ground if needed.
The first priority of this government, of any government, is the security and safety of the British people, to defend the national interest, particularly in these volatile times.
Gary, what do you think Australia's ongoing support of Ukraine is going to look like? Will we pledge boots on the ground as well as Keir Starmer has done, or is it going to be greater funding? What do you think that support is going to mean?
Look, no one's supporting Putin, but no one wants to have him so upset that he won't actually negotiate a peace. And no one wants to give away Ukraine to get that peace either. And that's certainly been the stand of Donald Trump. Look, the simple reality is, Rita, that Europe has been waiting for America to intervene on everything. And the worry now is that if the NATO pact is fully followed, an attack on one means an attack on them all. And under the US alignment with NATO, they'll have to go on the ground. I don't think that sounds very good to me. I'm all for peace. I don't want people to be slaughtered. I don't want there to be fighting on either side. And frankly, the idea that there seems to be people on the left internationally now trolling the whole concept of let's have a war, let's fight this, let's put more boots on the ground, let's throw more money at it, is completely contrary to what I thought the left wanted. If John Lennon was right here now, right, I'd suggest he would say, give peace a chance. And so let me just say it for you. So I think what Donald Trump did on the weekend, our time, on Friday in America, was actually expose the fact that Zelensky was just chasing the loot, chasing the money. And I don't know whether he's got much dignity left out of all of it, but it's not a popular opinion. A lot of media in this country are running that sort of Zelensky was right, Trump was wrong. But, you know, Trump derangement syndrome is pretty endemic in this country right now.
It certainly is, and I'll be talking to Josh Hammer about this after the break, because so much of the coverage, particularly in this country, has just been borderline delusional to unhinged. I've just been shocked. Even the characterisation of what happened in that meeting, it's clear that so many people talking about it haven't actually bothered to watch the 50-minute interaction, because that press conference went for 50 minutes, and if you watch the whole thing, your impression of it could be very different to that 5-6 minute bit that everyone's highlighting. Before you go, Gary, just quickly, former Midnight Oil frontman Peter Garrett, former Australian minister in the federal government, Peter Garrett, was on stage at the Perth Festival with his band, the Alter Egos, on Friday night, and he encouraged the attendees to pretend they're dancing on Gina Rinehart's grave. Gary, such an ugly, unnecessary, divisive bit of commentary from someone who should know better.
Yeah, I first met Peter Garrett about 1978. He was an activist then in the Parliament when I served with him. He was a pleasant enough sort of fellow, but an activist then. And he's now out of the Parliament. He's an activist again. For him, it's still 1976. That's how I read it. He's still really in these heart of hearts in the nuclear disarmament party. He really hasn't understood mainstream Australia, but he writes really good songs. So this is the problem. But, you know, picking on Gina Rinehart, probably, well, without doubt, one of the greatest living Australians. Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, this bloke Garrett's a little bit sort of, he's worn out down the path of the same old stuff. We've moved on, Peter, you need to as well. But Gina Rinehart, she contributes so much to this country. How dare he pick on her, I say.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's been a long time between drinks as far as the last great song Peter Garrett's written. And in the meantime, Gina Reinhardt has contributed a great deal more to this country than he ever will. Gary Hardgrave, thanks for your time tonight.